So here's a lovely fish pond. It's got like quite an assortment of goldfish and carp. If you have a look at that goldfish there, the one that's just gone off that way, that one's 11 or 12 years old, which is quite an old goldfish. It's got a couple of little lesions on its side, which really isn't unusual with such old goldfish. Just like an old man will get sort of, I guess, things on his skin, so do the fish. Other than that, it's a beautifully big, fat and healthy fish. This pond does have quite a few cichlids in it as well, because they had an aquarium inside. There's a bunch of peacocks and zebras running around in there, which is fine for this time of year considering it's summer. But he is going to have to remove these cichlids out of the pond once winter comes along, because once the temperature drops, it's not going to handle it, so they'll go inside without a problem. There is a little bit too much algae in this pond, and that's mainly due to the fact that besides this lion's head, the surface of the pond is really very flat. And when the surface of the pond is flat, that means that gas isn't exchanging, so therefore CO2 is going to build up in the water, so obviously the fish are constantly producing CO2. And then there's also quite a large canister filter which is running the pond, and that's totally full of good bacteria, and the good bacteria is also going to increase CO2. So therefore you've got a filter sucking the oxygen out of the water. You've got absolutely no gas exchange as the water goes back in. So the only hope of oxygen in this whole pond is that one lion's head. So what we really need to do to increase the redox potential of this pond, to get the bacteria working faster, and to really compete with the algae and reduce the amount of algae in this pond, is to add another pump. And what our aim for this other pump is to agitate the surface of the water as much as possible to create much better gas exchange. But other than that, it really is a beautiful pond, and it has very beautiful fish in it. The fish are all very healthy and happy. As the fish get larger, the oxygen will become more important, but the main thing the lack of oxygen is creating at the moment is it's just creating a little bit of extra algae, so we'd rather cut the algae down. We did run some water cleanser in this pond for a while, and it did make an improvement, but nowhere near what we were hoping, and that's because it was quite a small block, not large enough for the pond, and the pond really just needs increased oxygen. And it is quite a deceptively deep pond as well. The water's deeper than it looks. But yeah, it really is quite a beautiful display. So really trying to make sure that when your filter returns into the water, you want it to agitate the surface as much as possible and increase oxygen. And this pond will be even better.